It's even more beautiful than I ever imagined. And by beautiful, I mean the dumbest. So welcome back, folks. There was a micropatch yesterday morning that secretly added 3 new hidden vehicles into the main directory files for World of Tanks, but they are not available to the public yet. So let's do what we usually do. Let's take a sneak peek. And as always, I'll put the timestamps to each individual vehicle in the description below. But we're starting off with the Excalibur, a premium tier 6 British tank destroyer. It is a Ford Transit of a tank destroyer. It looks great, holy crap. So paint this vehicle white and write free candy on the sides. Mwah, excellent meme. Child abduction is not funny, but visually it is a pseudo turnable turret for a tank destroyer. It's not like a traditional conventional fixed mounted gun TD, so you can actually rotate this gun 100 degrees to each side, and it has a rapid firing 76mm, so it is a rapid firing British TD without the armor. So it's like the AT6, but AT6 use the 17 pounder. So alright, you could train your British crews. Has a commander, gunner, driver, loader, so it fits most of the crew layout. That's good. It's a van of a tank destroyer, so it's like the IKV 65 version number 2, but this is more of a van, whereas the IKV is like a Scion car of a tank. So what is good about this vehicle is it has a lot of DPM, 2,300 base, and you can ramp that up to like 2,700 with a rammer and vents and bursting arms. That is crazy for a tier 6. That is absolutely nuts. So this 76mm is a rapid firing punch holes stapler of a gun. That is insane. 2,300 base for a tier 6? That is unheard of. Most tier 6 guns are usually about 90mm and they have about 1500 base DPM or so, or 1600 base, but this is basically 800 more, about. That is nuts. That is crazy, but it looks like a van, so looks like the M113 from the back without the 50 caliber turret. Interesting. Well, high explosive shells will damage this vehicle, so it has no armor, 50 at the front and about 30 at the sides, so any high explosives, any howitzers will pin, and that will hurt the kids in the back, so you don't want to. That is such a large engine deck. Also, it has relatively a small silhouette. Relatively, it's not as tall as the Ford Transit, so it's more of a Ford-esque of a unmarked van, if you will, but I love the shape of this thing. It looks ridiculous. It doesn't look like a traditional tank destroyer, so not bad. Also, there are a lot of ropes for tying up kids. Alright, enough with the child abduction jokes. It's getting dark, but yeah, it is not that bad in terms of a gun. It has somewhat low of a penetration, 165, but that's comparing to higher calibers like the 90mm on the IKV, like the Hellcat or the Jackson, or the 88 on the Nashorn, so it has less penetration, but 165 is not that bad. But it's a rapid firing gun, and this thing reloads at 3.84 seconds. That is crazy. And it deals 150 alpha per shot, so it's a modified 76mm. It punches a lot of holes. It has very good accuracy, very fast aim time, gun depression and gun elevation. And I'll show you guys the full stats later on, but it has crazy DPM. So this gun is a workhorse. It is great. Otherwise, this vehicle has no armor whatsoever. So 50mm will get pinned, but it has abnormally a lot of health. 750. That is like a medium tank. It could survive a AP shell from a ISU 152 if it rolls low with the Alpha. Unlike other tank destroyers like the Hellcat or the Jackson or the SU-100, they get blown away by the 152 AP shell that deals about 750 Alpha, so this could survive a lot of the times against large caliber guns. But it's mostly the ISU, SU-152, as well as the Romtel Borsig with 152. And that's about it, I think. Or if you're facing like Japanese, but Japanese howitzers deal about 900 Alpha, so oof. Yeah, try to stay away, but meh. It has a lot more health than the average, so that's good. Horsepower per ton ratio 18.26. Not that bad. It's more like a medium, so it's not like crazy with the Hellcat, but it's alright. 50 kilometers per hour top speed, 15 in reverse. Not bad. Weighs about 30-ish tons, so it's kinda heavy, but not really for a tank destroyer, but alright. Camouflage, we'll take a quick look with the actual stats. It's a little bit wonky for the Wargaming model stats. And view range is 360, which is actually quite good for a closed top, like concealed, hole structured tank destroyer. Unlike the Hellcat, unlike the Jackson, they're open top, they have 370. This is actually quite good compared to the stuff like IKV 65 version number 2. That thing has 330. That is crap. So yeah, not bad. What's really interesting is the health and the gunpowder, the firepower of this thing. But here is the actual stats. So here is Tank Inspector with the vehicle model. As you can see, this vehicle could turn the turret somewhat like a T-28 prototype. So you could help yourself, preventing yourself from being flanked or circle strafed a little bit better than conventional fixed mounted guns, tank destroyers. It has gun depression, it has gun elevation, so you could go hull down and peek around a hilltop or shoot on a reverse slope on targets on the other slope, so that's good. But yeah, pseudo turret works pretty well. And here are the actual stats. Oh, forget to say, the armor model hasn't been updated since patch 1.0, so it's not working. Not my fault, not the creator's fault. It's nobody's updating this stuff, so whatever. Make do with what you have, but penetration is also a little bit off. This is based off of the gold shell, but the average penetration for a tier 6 tank destroyer is about 167 or so, 170, so it's not that bad. Alpha is below average, but it's a rapid firing gun, and DPM is 400, above the average. Holy crap, that is nuts. Module damage is below average. It's a smaller caliber of a gun, but reloads pretty quick. Shell velocity is not bad. Three digits, not 4 digits. 910. It's alright. I mean, you don't expect a lot of shell velocity from lower caliber guns at lower tier. It's fine. 910 is fine. It's not an APCR shell. It's alright. And you carry 60 rounds. So go spamming it. That's good. But here is the kicker. Accuracy is great. Way above average. Aim time. Dispersion is also pretty good too. So you can shoot this thing on movement. And gun depression, gun elevation. Hull traverse is also above average. That's nice. Turret traverse speed, the pseudo turret, and gun traverse speed. Gun traverse speed is good. So going up and down is pretty fast, but going sideways is a little bit slow. But you have a turret, so counteracts. Above average horsepower per ton ratio. Top speed. Terrain resistance is also good. So this thing is kinda nimble. A van-esque of a tank destroyer with a very good gun. And health. Module health is average, so nothing secretive or secret nerf about the modules. So like super low ammo rack health, so nothing shady here. That's good. View range above average by 5 meters. Camouflage rating is actually about average, surprisingly for the size. That's decent. Shell price, 180. Alright, so you won't make break your wallet. That's good. And it's a premium tank. What am I talking about? So overall, the firepower is actually pretty decent compared to the original stats. So originally, here is the Super Test server stats. Originally, it came with 120mm howitzer, firing HESH shells, and they actually scrapped this version, so no need to look at this version. But here is the original 76mm version. They buffed the DPM dramatically. They buffed the accuracy. They buffed the dispersion after shooting. They kept the mobility, buffed the health by 100, buffed the view range, and nerfed the shell price for the AP shell. Alright, but yeah, they actually buffed this vehicle. Compared to the current stats, yeah, they buffed it. They buffed it. It also fires high explosive squash head. 70mm of pen is not bad for a tier 6. Now mind you, this will face tier 4s. And some tier 4s have no armor, so yeah, this HESH shell will chew through, but then again, just fire the AP. I mean, you'll chew through a lot of tier 4s very quickly with the DPM. So overall, this vehicle seems pretty decent. It's a van, it's somewhat fast and mobile. It has a very punchy gun, very accurate, and very fast to aim. So the only downside is the armor. But then again, you don't really need the armor. You could play this thing like a Hellcat. Not that fast of a Hellcat, but yeah, this gun is pretty good. Well, yeah, here is the overall comparison, if you're wondering. But comparing to the conventional tank destroyers across the board, and some with turrets, it has a lot of DPM. It has the best DPM out of all of them, even compared to the AT8. What the hell is the AT6? Is that like tier 7? I don't even know. But yeah, it has a lot of DPM and gun depression. Accuracy, aim time, all goes for this vehicle. It's the best. Gun depression as well. So the best firepower rating, alright. It has less hit points than the AT8. Fair enough, AT8 is more like a bunker of a vehicle, so give or take, but it has a lot more health than stuff like the IKV, the Hellcat, the SU-100, the WZ-131G FT, the Panzer IV, Yak Panzer IV. Yeah, it could survive, maybe, from one shot from the ISU, and that is very important. So sometimes you play the ISU just like super kill a tier 6, and it's hilarious. It's the same concept with when you're playing a tier 9 autoloader against a tier 7 tank destroyer. They basically burst you in one clip and they run away laughing. Like when you're playing the T-54E1, you basically burst any tier 7 vehicle and just like yeah, sure. Same goes for the Skoda T-50, but it's mostly for tank destroyers with the Skoda. But yeah, this health, very important. Otherwise, view range, not bad. For the view range, it's actually above the AT8, above the IKV, the SU, the WZ, the Panzer IV, Yak Panzer IV. So it's close to the Hellcat and the Jackson and the Firefly. And what's also interesting, as a fun side note, the recent release of British premiums all comes with a green coloring or green shading in the vehicle's paint job. Alright, I don't mind with that, but this vehicle seems good. Yeah, overall this vehicle seems very good, but it depends on your knowledge of playing tank destroyers. It depends on your knowledge of running away when you need to, because it has no armor. Otherwise, it could survive a hit. It has the view range, and most importantly, it has the firepower. So gold shield wise, 192. It's not bad. You will face tier 8s, but 192 against tier 8. I mean, unless you're shooting something like the Mammoth, and that's about it, or the Oho, but depends on your teammates as well. But overall, I think it's a great tier 6 tank destroyer. It's premium too, so it may become a reward for personal missions. But give me a white version, please, with a bunch of ropes. And next, we have the Chimera, a premium tier 8 British medium tank that is somewhat like a flatter version of a caernarvon with a large turret and a large ass gun. It's a 5-inch cannon for a medium tank at tier 8, and that is 127mm, so this will overmatch vehicles like the S-Tank, which has been a problem for medium tanks to frontally engage because most of the time they have 90mm and 105, so cannot overmatch 30mm of armor, or 40 in some cases. But this is a large gun. It will pack the punch to go through the S-Tanks. But they nerfed this vehicle. They nerfed it in terms of alpha, aim time, accuracy, horsepower per ton ratio, view range as well. Nerfed it across the board. That is disappointing. But visually, it's like a caernarvon, or a flatter version of a caernarvon / Centurion, so large flat vehicle hull base. It's 115mm at the hull front, so it's sloped, and that should bounce like a T44 or T54-ish in terms of armor, so about 200mm effective, and that's not bad. It should be classified as a heavy tank, but wargaming classification, so Jumbo Pershing is a heavy, this vehicle is a medium. Alright, but yeah, it is the turret front, and that's where the most of the armor is. It's 200mm with a mantlet, like the Black Prince in terms of mantlet covering. So it's a strip of mantlet, but that's like a Ferdinand's hull front onto your turret front. It's not as crazy as the Centurions with 250mm, and that's historically super inaccurate. So there's a mantlet front. It is 200mm, but it's not as crazy as 250, so don't expect to bounce a lot of the tier 10s or tier 9s, but it is still pretty good against tier 8s and below. There is a cupola, so it is a weak spot. Be aware of that, so you're not impenetrable like the T32-ish of a turret armor, but it's still pretty decent. So it is a flat hull front and hull rear, so like the caernarvon or like a British version of Obj.727. It is pretty flat, and what that means is artillery shells. Wonderful. Ooh, there's a Bren LMG. They actually model a Bren? That's pretty cool. So I do like small stuff like clutter, like new models other than the Dishka or the 50 calibers or 30 calibers. So they added stuff like MP40s and MP44s, the STG44. Is that what it's called? But yeah, models, new stuff, or the grease gun. That's pretty nice. But fire canisters, fire extinguishers, yeah, sure. Shovels, pickaxe, yep, all the good stuff. So it's a British medium. It should be classified as a heavy, large ass gun that got super nerfed. I'll show you guys the full original stats from the ST server, but it is disheartening to see all the nerfs. So current DPM about 1700. I mean, you could ramp that up to about 2000 or 1900 with the rammer and vents, but originally it had 2100 base DPM. That was nuts. They nerfed it by 500. God damn it. They nerfed the accuracy. Accuracy currently is not bad for a large ass gun. It's not bad, 0.36, but yeah, it was nerfed. They nerfed the aim time. 2.78 seconds of aim time is not unreasonable, but it was better. 10 degrees of gun depression, 20 elevation. Turret traverse is slow, so it's a large turret, large gun. It turns slowly. Takes like 15 seconds to reload with the rammer. About 14.5-ish, but still, oof. 202mm of pin. I mean, it's like the Revalorise, but alright. And 440 alpha. They nerfed it from 490. Yeah, that sucks. They nerfed the mobility as well. I don't think they nerfed the health, but Health-wise, it's not bad. 1400 for a medium at tier 8. That's close to a heavy, so that's decent enough. Hull armor, yep, 114. It's like a T-54-ish in terms of hull armor front, so decent. And turret front, 203. It's not as crazy as the Centurion's, 250, but hey, standard 3 inches on the sides and on the turret rear, and 50 for the hull rear. So that's where artillery hits you for full damage. Wonderful. So mobility wise, originally it had about 18 horsepower per turret ratio. They nerfed it to 16. 50 kilometers per hour top speed, 20 reverse. Traverse speed is slow for a medium, so this is more of a heavy medium than a medium. So it's more of a jumbo Pershing, but it's classified as a medium. Alright, crew wise, alright, still the same as any other British medium, so that's good. Mobility, heavy tank. Concealment, it's better than heavy, but not much. Meh, okay. And they nerfed the view range into a freaking Russian tank. Originally, it had below average view range of 380, and that was okay, but they nerfed it to 360. God, jeez. Alright, so here is the vehicle model. As you can see, using the gun depression, turret front is somewhat reliable, and it covers up the cupola weak spot, so that's good. But yeah, that's all you can get out of the 200 millimeters. So there might be a mantlet. Yeah, there's a strip of mantlet right here. That's 203. So use that to help with the high explosive anti-tank shells, but it's not 250. So stats wise, 202. Yeah, this is based off of the premium shells. It's not based off of the actual normal shells, so it's a little bit inflated, but large alpha, large module damage, but DPM is below average by 300, so blah. It does carry 40 rounds for a large ass shell, so that's good. But originally, one of the biggest weakness or weak spot about this vehicle is the shell velocity. That is slow. That is like pre-buffed Obj.726 version of the 152. That is slow, so you have to lead your shots. And originally, you could lead the shots with relatively good accuracy and aim time, but they nerfed it, so hull traverse is slow, turret traverse is slow, yep, below average and below average. Dispersion shooting the gun is pretty god-awful, so it's like a heavy tank in terms of accuracy. Be aware, they nerfed the horsepower per ton ratio, they nerfed the... I don't think they nerfed the terrain resistance, but we'll check. And health is above average, slightly. Module health, you don't need safe stowage right away, so above average health for the ammo rack, and that's good. For the fuel tanks, you don't catch on fire. A lot of health for the engine, like abnormally more health for the engine. That's good. Alright, I mean, no other hidden factors, so okay. View range, yeah, they nerfed it. God, they nerfed. Oh, jeez. Average camo, alright, fine. And 755 credits per shot. They're using a weird reference, so cannot see the actual average for normal shots. But the gold shell is 252. Medium tanks usually have about... Oh, then again, tier 8 medium tanks usually have about 250 or so. It's not as crazy as 270 or 280, but pick your shots correctly with 250 and you should pin most tier 10s, other than super heavies. So, 250 is not bad. It does fire Hesh with 64mm of pin, and large alpha for the Hesh. Alright, but here is the fun comparison. Here is the comparison with the ST server. Yeah, they nerfed the alpha. It had 2,200 DPM. It's same old garbage shell velocity, but you can actually aim with that pretty decent accuracy. And relatively good aim time for a large ass gun, 2.4 seconds. and 0.33 accuracy. That's actually not bad. They also nerfed the dispersion. They nerfed the traverse for the turret and the hull. Yeah, they nerfed the horsepower per turn ratio. And they nerfed the view range. They buffed the credits per shell. Alright, sure, but god damn it. They also nerfed the hash, also, obviously. God, originally it was so good. Originally I thought this was pretty much a power creep. Maybe a power creep over the 5-1, the Centurion 5-1 RAAC. They nerfed it. This was so good when you think about it. I mean, it has a lot of DPM for a tier 5 or tier 5 for a tier 8 medium tank. That is pretty good. That's a lot of DPM, and you could put rammer and you could put vents. It will help. I mean, accuracy is also pretty decent for a large ass gun, and the aim time is also good. Shell velocity is crap, but that's the takeaway. But it's still relatively mobile with 18 horsepower per turn ratio. Sure, the terrain resistance is crap, but it's offset by the pretty decent terrain horsepower per turn ratio over the terrain resistance, so give or take. And the view range is not bad. It's like a Mutz or Panzer 58, but they nerfed it. They nerfed it to crap. So is this vehicle worth it? Well, I would prefer you, if you're buying a British medium tank crew trainer, to buy the 5-1. The 5-1 is not that bad. I mean, the 5-1 is a power creep over the Primo Victoria, so why would you ever want to buy the FE4202? There's no way. So, I mean, it's like a Caernarvon in a sense, but it doesn't have the Caernarvon's DPM. The Caernarvon has crazy DPM. Whatever happened to the Caernarvon Action X 2? So, yeah, DPM wise, the lowest out of the bunch, even lower than the FE4202. God, the FE4202 sucks. Armor wise, yeah, 250mm of armor for Centurions, so yeah, oh well. It's not even rounded like the FE4202, so whatever. What is special about this thing? The Alpha? Yeah, the Alpha, possibly. It has about the same horsepower per ton as the FE4202. Oh my god. Yeah, the 5-1 is insane when you compare it to the other Centurions and FE4202. The 5-1 is so much better. A lot more horsepower per ton ratio, a lot better hull front armor, the same gun, the same DPM, the same accuracy and others. It's such a power creep. God, it's not even shameful. Oh, well, camo wise, it's actually better, surprisingly, than the Centurions. Not as good as the FE, but whatever. And view range is crap. Yeah, compared to the Centurions, with 400 meters of view range, you're 10% less. 40 less. That is nuts! So, is this vehicle worth it? Buy the 5-1. If you want a British medium tank crew trainer, buy the 5-1. Or if you want a competitive medium tank at tier 8, buy the 5-1. This gun, its shell velocity is slow. It got nerfed in terms of accuracy and aim time. And it has crappy DPM now. So what's the point? For the Alpha? You can hardly pin with 202. Sometimes you will miss with the accuracy. I don't know. It's up to you guys. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not as crazy as the Ford Transit, but oh well. And finally, we have the Obj.726. They're calling it the Obj.279 early, but it's the 726. So it's basically a souped up version of a 907 with a lot of armor and no lower plate whatsoever. Holy crap. Take a look at the lower plate. There is none. It's all tracks. There's no lower plate like the 907. It's like a upwards U-shape or N-shape. There's no lower plate. It's 170mm of rounded, sloped upper plate. You will not penetrate this vehicle at the front. It has a small cupola 2 pairs of cupola, only 1 cupola actually, and a hatch lid for the loader. It's super small. How do you pen? I mean, unless you're using something like the Type 5, firing high explosive, but jeez. If this is a personal missions reward for season number 2 of personal missions, that would be nuts. I will work my ass off for this vehicle. It's a special tier 10 vehicle, special tier 10 Russian heavy, but I mean, for Clan Wars, that would be OP. But then again, you get 907 from Clan Wars, so that's still pretty good. Yeah, side armor is a lot more workable than the 279, but it's still sloped downwards into a V shape, so you know how well that goes for vehicles like the 257 at tier 9. Yep. So 130, that's pretty decent. Slope downwards, yeah, that's sloping 130. Alright, but frontal armor 170, turret front 300. It's nuts. Holy crap, 907 on steroids. A lot of health too. I mean, it's not like the original IS-7 health at 2100. So I mean, shoot this thing at the rear mostly, or if you have a high caliber gun, shoot it at the sides. But is there actual hull armor underneath the tracks or underneath the vehicle's hull, like right here? I doubt it. It's just a support for the tracks. So if you want to be the ultimate troll, put toolbox into your equipment slot and have all repairs for your crew members. Therefore, you repair the tracks in like 3 seconds or something. This thing is unkillable at the front. High explosive. Oh my god. Yeah, second season of personal missions reward. If that's the case, I'll work my ass off. Like, I'll really work my ass off. This is even more OP than the Obj.726, like we reviewed like 3 years ago. Holy crap. So today's meta have insane vehicles that cannot be killed, cannot be penetrated. So why not just add explosive reactive armor or composite armor? Fudge it. Just have main battle tanks now, why not? Holy nutsacks. So they nerfed the DPM, they nerfed the accuracy of this gun. So originally it was like 2800 DPM, they nerfed it by 200, and accuracy was a little bit better, as was dispersion, but they nerfed it. So right now it's still pretty good. I mean, 2600 with the rammer, that's like close to 3000 now. So god. But yeah, the original stats was insane when you think about it. So it is a Russian 122 modified 122, the same gun that's on the IS-4 as well as the T10, I think. So, or the STI. Alright. But yeah, this thing cranks out a lot of shots. A lot of shots. I mean, if it was 130, that might be even more crazy. I don't know. Survivability, yeah, 90 at the rear. So go for the 90, but side of the turret is only 140. It's rounded, it's sloped. Alright. But yeah, frontally you cannot kill this thing. No way. Mobility, I think they nerfed it a little bit. It nerfed the engine power, or maybe the same. It's probably the same. I think they mostly nerfed the firepower. We'll see. But yeah, 14.17 is not bad for a super heavy. This is considered as a super heavy. It's, well, it's not the same as a IS-7 or Obj.726 type of super heavy or the 5A. So it's not as fast as the aggro heavy, but it's not bad. Yeah, it's not as bad as the mouse or Type 5, but it's not as fast as the aggro heavies like the 277s. So it's still, I mean, 277s have lower plate. This thing doesn't have lower plate. So that's the trade-off. You're slower, but you have impenetrable armor. Concealment, heavy tank, whatever. and view range is 400, so they did not touch that. But here are the main comparison for the stats. So gun depression is 5 degrees, I think. Yep. But that really looks like a 907. Really looks like one. So this is based off of gold shell, but whatever. So DPM above average slightly. That's good. It carries 40 rounds rather than 30 like on the IS-4. So God, above the IS-4, it's so underpowered. Only 30 rounds. Jeez. Accuracy slightly below average. That's alright. It's a Russian gun. Below average aim time. Alright, fine. They nerfed the dispersion. It's still average-ish. 5 degrees of gun depression, 15 elevation. Hull traverse, slightly above average, but not much. Turret traverse, slightly below average, but not much. Horsepower per ton ratio, average. Terrain resistance, below average-ish. But the top speed is 40, reverse is 13. 2,400 health, below average, but that's compared to super heavies, so module health, ammo rack health. Why is ammo rack health like 600? That's a faulty mistake. All right, yeah, that's a mistake. There's no way your engine health is like 600. Yeah, this is messed up. All right, bugs in the system, but whatever. 400 meters of view range, slightly above average camo. All right, and weighs 60 tons. So yeah, okay, fine. But here are the actual super test server stats. They nerfed the DPM, so they nerfed it from 200 more. So nerfed it by 200, 250 actually. Yeah, 250. Holy crap! They nerfed the aim time, nerfed the accuracy. Jesus, nerfed the dispersion. Yeah. Yep. They nerfed the turret traverse, kept the hull traverse, kept the terrain resistance. Yep. And rest are the same. So gold shell, 340. Alright. So basically they nerfed the DPM and nerfed the handling of the gun. I mean, still pretty good. You still have to consider the armor, but originally it had the same firepower as a medium tank, with like 1.9 seconds of aim time. Yeah, that's basically a medium tank. Medium tanks DPM, medium tanks accuracy on a heavy tank with a 122. Well, is it worth it? Hell's yes. If it's still 170 millimeters of slope armor, geez. Yeah, armor inspector is still bugged, but I can tell you, this thing will bounce a lot of shots. Holy crap. That's even more than 45 degrees. That's like 40-ish. That is nuts. It's rounded too. 170 at the front. Yeah, 170 at the front. There's no lower plate. There's no cupola weak spot. That is nuts. So there you go, folks. 3 new vehicles added in a micropatch for patch 1.0.2.3 something. But there has been a lot of micropatches. The recent one has 3 hidden vehicles. I took a look and I saw HD package, downloading HD package. Like, normal stuff don't have HD packages. It's only pertaining to vehicles. Then I check out the packages, 3 new vehicles. Holy crap, I updated all the mods and took a look. So yeah, Excalibur, the Ford Transit van is pretty decent. Excelsior's crap. Excelsior's a freaking T14 for the British. The Chimera, got nerfed super hard. Chimera got nerfed. If it had the original stats, it's actually pretty good, but yeah, they nerfed it to the other spectrum, so whatever. And this thing, they nerfed the firepower, sure. It had the same firepower, same handling as a medium for 122. They nerfed it to a heavy tank-ish of a standard, but it's all about the armor on this thing. So put something like a toolbox, have all repairs, you troll the amount of repair speed for the tracks. Is there a repair speed timer for these things? That would be crazy if you know. So tracks, they don't have a repair speed for the tracks. I mean, I think, is it all the same? I don't think it's all the same. I mean, some vehicles have super long repair speed. For example, the T62A takes super long to repair the tracks for some reason, or the Object 140. If you get detracking the Object 140, originally without the reusable repair kits, it takes like 10 seconds prior to having repair skill. So that's why a lot of the top tier Unicum Clan Wars players have repair first for the Object 140 and the T62A. It takes too long, but I mean, if this thing has like 20 seconds of repair speed for the tracks, that would be funny. That would be really hilarious. But yeah, this thing, jeez. In the meta of corridor maps, in the meta of all city maps or garbage corridors all the time, this thing is nuts. You don't get flanked. Yeah, side armor is still good too. I mean, you could side scrape. Think about it. Side scrape with the slope downward side armor. That is nuts. So, yeah, it's an Object 907 on steroids as a heavy tank. But there you go, folks. 3 new hidden vehicles in this upcoming patches, I guess. We might have it soon. Hopefully, we might not. So hopefully, we get personal missions version number 2.0 with this thing as the top. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.